rival Saudi Arabia. However, the newly inaugurated president also stated Iran's desire to expand its power and its counterbalance to those across the region. UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab says the inauguration could create a new start for Iran.
There's a new president that's inaugurated this week, and there's a crossroads, a set of opportunities.
I'm Karen Chamas.
Japan's government announced Thursday it would expand its COVID-19 emergency curbs to cover more than 70% of the population as a surge in cases strains hospitals in the Olympic host city Tokyo and other parts of the country. Public broadcaster NHK reported on Thursday that new daily COVID-19 cases in Japan exceeded 15,000 for the first time after the Tokyo Metropolitan Government reported a record high of about 5,000 new infections in the capital. Medical advisors to the capital warned the figure could double in 2 weeks. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga on Thursday asked people to refrain from travel during summer holidays, declaring the United States must move fast to win the car-making future. President Joe Biden on Thursday touted a commitment from the auto industry to make electric vehicles up to half of U.S. sales by the end of the decade. Biden said that electric vehicles are the future and the U.S. cannot fall behind.
They're a vision of the future that is now beginning to happen. A future of the automobile industry that is electric. Battery electric, plug-in hybrid electric, fuel cell electric. It's electric, and there's no turning back.
The president wants automakers to raise gas mileage and cut tailpipe pollution between now and the model year 2026. That would mark a significant step toward meeting his pledge to cut emissions and to battle climate change as he pushes a history-making shift in the United States from internal combustion engines to battery-powered vehicles. For more on these stories and the rest of the day's news, visit our website, reporting by remote. I'm David Bird, VOA News.
Lifestyle 74. Lifestyle 74 radio weather. Today, Friday, partly sunny with passing clouds during the morning and perhaps showers north of the plateau and in Jura. Sunny in Valais. Becoming sunny in all areas by afternoon. Minimum temperature at dawn 14 degrees. Afternoon highs 24 to 26. The 0-degree temperature line rising to 3,800 meters. Moderate to strong southwesterly winds in the mountains. Weak to moderate on the plain. Saturday, the Sabbath, quite sunny in the morning. Becoming cloudy from the west by midday. Rain and thunder during the afternoon. Crossing the country from west to east, probably reaching all areas by evening. Maximum temperature 22, tendency of firn wind in the Alps. Sunday, variable cloudiness, probably some showers, notably in the pre-Alps, high around 21. Monday, quite sunny, but some showers possible over high ground by afternoon, high of 22. Tuesday, quite sunny, and on Wednesday, generally sunny and a bit warmer. And that's Lifestyle 74 radio weather. Donations always needed and welcome here at the station. Learn how to donate online at radio74.org. That's radio74.org. The team, thank you. Radio 74. Today's good news is from Revelation chapter 15. John says, as he saw it under inspiration, I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them the wrath of God is complete. And I saw something like a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who had the victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having harps of God, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are your works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are your ways, O King of saints. Who shall not fear you, O Lord, and glorify your name? For you alone are holy. For all nations will come and worship before you. For your judgments.
Se llama Road Trains for SCS.
the victory of the righteous. Today's
Lo vas a encontrar así.
What wondrous
Ahí va.
love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this,
Carnita para convoy.
oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that comes the Lord of Lords to bear the dreadful curse for my soul, for my soul, to bear the dreadful curse for my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down beneath.
Y uno que se siente chingón cuando trae un full aquí en el juego. Ahora imagínate con esa madresota. Ah, no mames.
Más rápido, mándenme mensaje a Facebook, paso mi nombre.
Olor de huevos a la hora de pulmear. Es la imagen que aparece la caja y la
This
pipa,
might
¿verdad?
recommend the Marketplace Morning Report. Start your day off right with David Brancaccio in the game.
Deja nada más. ¿Quién iba a pasar su nombre de Facebook para agregarlo y para ponerlo de acuerdo con otro ya no convoy? ¿Cómo estás en Facebook, compa?
Raising kids involves making lots and lots of decisions. Should they eat more vegetables? Can't hurt. Do they need more sleep? Yeah, probably. Are they getting too much screen time? No comment. A lot of these questions have no clear answers. Emily Oster is a professor of economics at Brown University and a mother of 2 kids. In a new book, she writes about how parents and caregivers can approach those gray area decisions through a data lens. It's called The Family Firm, a data-driven guide to better decision-making in the early school years. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
So I want to actually start with the subtitle because I would describe my own parenting style as winging it. I think a lot of parents and caregivers kids would probably agree with that.
So a lot of the argument in the book is about using data, but also about thinking about our lives in a more structured way and maybe not always winging it. If we do that, I believe that we can end up in a situation where we often make individual small decisions rather than looking at the big picture and saying, you know, hey, how often am I spending my afternoons at some kids' school?
This is your 3rd book. You've also written books about pregnancy and about caring for babies. The Family Firm focuses on elementary age kids. And I wondered why this is an age that is different in terms of parenting decisions.
So I think there's 2 big differences. One is simply the role of logistics to manage a lot of planning, which is different from maybe having a small kid.
I'm nodding vigorously here.
Yes, you're nodding. Exactly. I think the other big difference is that the decisions that families face are just really different in this time frame. And so often we are facing decisions which we didn't expect, and so some of what I'm providing in the book is more of a way to decide than a particular decision, to say, you know, hey, here's a way to make them with a structured framework that may help make them better.
Yeah, so let's break down one of those issues. I think one of the thorniest that parents of kids this age face is, you know, when to give them a phone and what kind of phone. Can you walk me through how you use data to approach a dilemma like that?
Yeah, so I think the first step in all this decision making is to frame the question. You know, in that case, like, why am I getting them the phone? And the answer to that will tell you a little bit about what kind of information you need. Well, then you get into a second step of fact-finding, actually trying to figure out what does the data say about whether this is a good idea. And the data can tell you things like, this is what to be on the lookout for, But ultimately, you have to think, is that a kind of concern I have with my particular kid? And then the third step is to make a decision. I urge people to say, okay, this is the date at which we'll decide, and we'll try to move on. And the last step is really, and I think particularly relevant in the phone case, is to acknowledge that you could change your mind. And that gives you a little more freedom almost to experiment with what works for your particular situation.
You talk about how data can be useful in solving the sort of gray area issues in parenting, even when the data itself isn't perfect, or when, you know, the advice from experts is constantly changing. And I think the pandemic has been a prime example of that. How does your approach work when, you know, we don't really know yet whether kids should wear masks, whether to get the vaccine once they're eligible? Those things are still being sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the uncertainty is the hardest thing, and the pandemic has really laid bare the cases in which not only is the data not very good, but there may just literally be none of it.
Right.
And that means, you know, that sometimes we have to make decisions in a very, very data-poor environment. But that, in my mind, that is an argument for structured decision-making rather than for just doing whatever, because it at least tells us what data we would like to have, and it gives us a way to make the choices using the data to the extent that we can.
The book is called The Family Firm because, you know, running a household is a lot like running a business. But as the pandemic has made more clear, a lot of that labor falls to women, and many women have left the labor force during the past year or so. Can you talk about some of the tools that you use or recommend using to make that labor more manageable?
So I think that there are a lot of practical things like task management software or shared Google Docs, which, you know, seem a little, I don't know, clinical maybe, but can actually help to share these burdens a bit more. If we've decided there's some set of rules for what people can have for lunch or rules for something else, it shouldn't be the case that only one person can implement that.
Yeah. For people who don't naturally have the skills that I think you obviously bring to this through training, but also personality. You know, I know the spreadsheet parents, and I know the parents like me who are like making decisions as they come up and just trying to keep our heads above water. How can you coach someone to actually change their approach if they're not naturally inclined that way?
I think that for some people, maybe they will read Family Firm and they'll be like, oh, this is what I'm looking for. Worksheets, spreadsheets, a structure, like this is for me. And for other people, they'll be like, boy, this seems like a lot of work. But I would say that there may be individual pieces in here that will resonate with people. There may be something where you pull out and you say, maybe we would benefit from thinking a little bit more carefully about how many birthday parties we want to be going to.
All right. Emily Oster wrote the book, The Family Firm, a data-driven guide to better decision-making in the early years. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
And if you want to talk about business and the economy with your kids, we've got a podcast for that. It's called Million Bazillion. New episodes out now, wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up.
Are they really able to see what I bring?
There's more than what's on paper. But first, let's do the numbers. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 271 points, just shy of 0.8% to finish at 35,064. The Nasdaq picked up 114 points, also just shy of 0.8% to end at 14,895. And the S&P 500 added 26.6% to land at 4429. So how did automotive stocks react to those electric vehicle targets Marielle told us about? Ford picked up 2.9%. General Motors added 3.25%, and all-electric Tesla pocketed 0.5%. U.S. retail sales in July were 10.9% higher than a year earlier, according to MasterCard's Spending Pulse, which tracks online and brick-and-mortar sales regardless of the payment. Chief economists attributed the increase to pent-up savings.
todos los días ha estado nublado, con probabilidad de lluvias, y llueve algo. Casi no hace calor ahorita en este tiempo.
Helping change the way companies connect with their employees anywhere and everywhere. Production and broadcasting tools that help transform town halls from sit and listen to standing ovation affairs. Reimagine company-wide meetings. Allhands.com. And by Fidelity Wealth Management, helping clients develop a personalized plan to help grow and protect their wealth. More at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. And by GEP, helping transform supply chains with strategy, services, and software, including GEP Smart and GEP Next.
¿Esperamos al compa Ali o ya le empezamos a dar?
Every major Democrat in the country is pulling in the direction of getting Andrew Cuomo. So Andrew Cuomo can hope that public sentiment will stay behind him, but the very first polling that exists shows building momentum to have Andrew Cuomo removed from office.
I'm Michael Barbar. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times. Today at 3:30 on KNPR.
Love theater? Then we have the trip for you. Join us September 10th and 11th for our trip to the Utah Shakespeare Festival, dedicating their 60th anniversary in honor of their founder, Fred C. Adams. Your trip includes a private coach ride, tickets to 4 performances, and an overnight stay at the Baymont by Wyndham. We'll take care of all of the details. Bye.
This is Marketplace. I'm Amy Scott. This week, regulators in California approved an emergency order restricting water use in the state. More than 5,000 water rights holders in northern California and the Central Valley, most of them farmers, will face shortages amid the state's ongoing drought. It's not just farmers who rely on access to cheap, abundant water. California is home to the country's largest manufacturing sector, and as KCRW's Benjamin Gottlieb reports, the textile industry in Los Angeles is facing some tough choices.
Sean Zahedi thinks about water. Without water, we can't really make fabric, to be completely honest. Zahedi runs Lafayette Textiles in the city of Vernon with his father. It's in Los Angeles County.
Yeah, it is so water intensive, and obviously it does translate into a higher cost of manufacturing, especially here.
And especially when water costs go up, something that California has seen over the last decade. Right now, 85% of California, including LA, is experiencing either extreme or exceptional drought conditions. Those are the highest levels there are in the U.S. This way, the textile producers and dye houses that
Tira, más rápido.
Something Zahedi says has already started to happen.
Igual lo tengo hace poquito.
At a dye house, at this knitting, all that, and then basically had sold off the dye house. That dye house. Es bonito, la verdad.
Zahedi's 55,000 square foot factory now employs just 20.
The industry's totally changed.
Ilsa Metchek is the president of the nonprofit California Fashion Association. 30 years ago, she says, the U.S. fashion industry employed some 900,000 people cutting and sewing fabric. The workforce is now under 100,000. Cheap labor in other countries and recent revisions to free trade agreements, Metchek says, contributed to this decline, but so too did California's water-saving measures during the last drought. In 2015, former Governor Jerry Brown implemented the first mandatory water cutbacks in state history. 25% reduction for 400 of California's water reserves.
And if you're in the dye house, the water has to be cooked. That is not a problem in Mexico.
Where water conservation rules are rarely enforced. Now, some textile companies are already planning for a future with less water. Take the denim company Cytex, which just opened a facility in LA. Its founder, Sanjeev Ball, says he's invested in denim washing machines that recycle water.
As you're washing water, you're recycling it simultaneously. It's not going outside of the development pond, it's getting treated, and disposal.
It's as much a business decision. After all, the World Bank estimates about 20% of the world's wastewater comes from fabric dyeing and treatments. But upfront costs in this equipment, Paul says, are high.
we broke even in 7 years.
Still, he says, that investment will pay off.
Ahí voy, dale.
We heard the latest on weekly unemployment claims from Samantha Fields up top, and tomorrow we'll get the big job numbers for the month of July. But even with all the help wanted signs out there, the skills a company wants don't always match up with the ones job seekers have. And some people can live in this gap for a very long time. That's the case in this installment of our series, My Economy, about a cookbook author and caterer trying to keep her family together.
I'm Linda Burbulek. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a cookbook author and food writer and a freelancer. And I also have a small business called Curry Cravings. And we're looking at a strange little transition now from Georgia to California. In 2008, with the recessions, my husband found himself without a job. The burden kind of shifted on how we're going to make our mortgage payments and then we're going to make things happen. One thing led to another, and I crowdfunded my first cookbook, and the success of it led me to continue to work in it.
¿Qué pasó con? No te escucho. Hola, ¿qué pasó? Me accidenté.
¿Dónde está la tuya?
¿Vas a ir al taller? Simón. Estoy donde te chocaste. Chale, compa, me mandó hasta el cojo otra vez. ¿Por qué no cargas tu auto guardado?
Oigan, ¿quiénes se pusieron el remolque? ¿Alguno se puso el remolque? Es que creamos otra sala donde vamos a hacer convoy con estos remolques por si quieren ingresar.
Yo quería terminar ahora, pero bueno. Falta todavía. 7:30.
Por si quieren están invitados, la sala se llama igual que esta.
Bueno.
Ya le pisas y solito se va a subir el aire. Tienes que moderar un buen ratito, te va a tardar como casi un minuto, menos del minuto. Pone neutral, le dejas acelerado, y ya se va a escuchar cuando ya está, y ya nomás ya le pones en primera y ya se va.
Nada más el problema de la enganchada es el...
¿Cómo?
Si quieres ven a verme porque veas cómo está el remolque. ¿Cómo sacaste para ya ver esto?
Ok, ¿tienes cámara cero?
Sí.
¿Qué vas a hacer? La vas a dar en gestor de remolques y vas a buscar ahí el remolque. Entonces la vas a poner en equipar, ¿ok?
Ajá.
Equipaste, nada más le das cámara cero.
Ajá.